If, however, if the cells detach and migrate, then the cancer cells spread to other organs via the blood, etc. This is metastasis. This leads to tumors in other organs. And let me do this in a slightly different color. In Bio 111, we'll call this cancer. In the AMDs, it doesn't become cancer until it's metastatic or the benign tumor actually starts to impinge on other important tissues. So what happens for spreading is, warts I don't believe do this, but so a classic example would be a lung tumor. Starts in a cell goes bad in your lungs, you get a lump of cells in your lung. That can stay there for years. It doesn't necessarily become malignant. But if it does, what that means, what malignancy means, is it is now the cells that start to break loose and float through the blood, and they'll colonize other part of you. So you get secondary tumors on other organs. And that's usually when things get very, very serious, because it's now tumors all over your body, not in one particular place. And so I will call cancer the whole thing. Once a cell starts dividing faster than it should, I'll call that cancer. The MDs don't call it cancer until that tumor either gets big enough to cause trouble, then it becomes malignant, or if that tumor starts to metastasize, spread throughout the body. They're fundamentally the same, similar ideas. Turns out easier biologically to think about cell growth than it is about metastasis. This is now, so this would now be a malignant tumor. Okay. All right. So the next thing you might ask is, how does cancer, in the end, how does cancer kill you? Because it's just a bunch of cells growing, why would that necessarily be bad? Basically, the answer is that the tumor grows, and literally, there are some exceptions to this, but for the most part, it's a physical process. It grows and it squeezes some blood vessel or a nerve or a vital organ until it can no longer do its job. And that leads to death. So it's, like this better. All right. And so eventually the tumor grows to some point where in your brain it squishes some part of your brain necessary for breathing or for heart rate control, or it squishes some crucial blood vessel, and so the blood doesn't go where it needs to go. It's literally, in most cases, a physical thing that the tumor does that finally would kill you, untreated. I mean, that's why we try to treat cancer, because it would, in fact, ultimately kill you. Questions? Yes? So the question was about biopsies in the case of breast cancer. And this is at the edge of where I know what I'm talking about. The purpose of the biopsy is presumably to determine what stage the cancer at, how rapidly the cells are growing, how abnormal they are, and if they look metastatic. That is, are they going to be spreading? Beyond that, I don't know what they check for. Yeah? So it turns out, and again, this is at the edge of where I know what I'm talking about. My understanding is that cancer cells don't look right. That is, they're abnormal physically, shape-wise, and they have typically chromosomal abnormalities, a variety of abnormalities. So it turns out apparently not, if you know what you're looking for, not be difficult to tell. I can't, but I know that people can. All right. So And it turns out that about 28%, let me write this more neatly, of U.S. deaths are due to cancer. So about a little under a third, between a quarter and a third, of the people in the United States who die from cancer. And let me give you, actually because we're running short of time, I'll just say,